Welcome to Spotlight ETSU. Today we have with us Brandon Johnson, president of the ETSU Conservative Coalition, and Sydney Crowder, president of the ETSU College Democrats. Stick around, we have a very special first episode. We're turning on the spotlight. Welcome to Spotlight ETSU today. We have Sydney Crowder, president of the ETSU College Democrats, and we also have Brandon Johnson here with us today, who is the president of the ETSU Conservative Coalition. So today, I just wanted to thank you guys, for being here. It's a pleasure to have you both. But I just wanted to start off by asking you a few general things. First off, tell us a little bit about yourself. So what's your background, Sydney?
I'm a political science criminal justice major. I'm a senior, super senior actually. It's my 5th year. I'm hoping to graduate and go to grad school. I ended up getting involved in politics really heavily when I came to ETSU. I was a little bit involved at my community college, but not really, so yeah.
All right, what about Brandon?
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate the heck out of Sydney Crowder, and thank you all for having me on today. Again, my name is Brandon Johnson. I'm actually, this is my 4th year here at ETSU, but I'm already in the master's program for business. So shied away from the political science just because I don't think my psyche could really handle that.
Okay, what are you hoping to do after you graduate, Sydney?
I'm hoping to get into campaign management. I want to work really heavily in the political side of things. I want to really work towards building a better nation, both with a candidate and with myself as an elected official.
Okay.
Shockingly, I want to stay out of politics. I really want to spend a couple years after law school as an assistant district attorney, helping to represent the great judicial districts of Tennessee.
All right, very cool. Sounds like big futures for both of you.
Thank you.
So really, I'll just hit the ground running. What is your organization? You are the president of the ETSU Conservative Coalition, but
Yes,
what
sir.
is that really? What is your organization about?
So formerly we were known as the ETSU College Republicans, but we found that banner a little restrictive to when we wanted to do some activism or some other things. So we've really rechartered our name under the ETSU Conservative Coalition, which what that allows us to do is go in and have different organizations that kind of follow suit and can go in and use each for a different function. So we're really proud to have both College Republicans, Young Americans for Freedom, and some other groups that kind of all align with this right-wing mentality that really allows us to be the most effective political group on campus.
Okay, so you talk about activism. What kind of activism are you hoping to achieve, to accomplish, or take part in?
Yeah, definitely. Upcoming, we've got some activism that's taking place in Sullivan County where we're going door knock to educate, especially about inflation rates of taxes, looking at geopolitical issues. We really cover the gambit. And so one of my favorite, though not really an activism event, but one of my favorite events that we've done so far this year is on September 11th, we actually put out one American flag in the ground for every life lost by the terrorist attacks on September 11th. And that was really, really sombering to watch all the students kind of walk by, and some paused, some took pictures, some shed tears, but it really let us know that what we're doing and our conservative message is kind of getting through. And that was just one very small way which we could remember and really show how important it is to have strong national security.
Okay. Sydney, what about the College Democrats?
We really gear towards promoting the democratic ideal. We work with a community organization called the Young Democrats in Washington County. It's the Tri-Cities Young Democrats. We really work towards promoting certain things within the party. We promote the equality, the chance for change, the chance for hope, making sure that everyone has representation. We're really passionate about that. We're really passionate about getting involved. That's what we're really geared towards now, is getting involved, teaching people, educating them on what our side of the gambit is and what their side of the gambit is. We're really open and broad. I know that the College Republicans and the Conservative Coalition are more than welcome to come to our meetings, and I do imagine the same as for us, because I know that we need to have that open flow of information. We're actually having a meeting on the DNC and what we're doing in that and how that works and stuff here pretty soon.
Okay, so when you want to get involved, though, what do you mean by that? What are you planning on doing? Are there any kind of events you're going to hold?
We've had 2 events already. We had a Hillary Clinton rally and we had a Bernie Sanders rally. The Hillary Clinton rally was really small. It was very, very eloquent. It had a modest number of 30 at it. Had the state representative for Hillary Clinton. And then the Bernie Sanders was a little bit more grassroots, as his campaign is. We had about 150 at that one. And we had live bands. We had a wonderful time, and we're just really educating people on what the policies these 2 candidates are really promoting are.
Okay. How is your organization hoping to get involved in local politics, if at all?
Actually, at a future meeting at a later date, we are actually holding a volunteer drive to volunteer for local people who are running. So like Nancy Fishman's running for the 7th House seat, 7th District House seat. And she wants to have student volunteers because that's really how she's going to connect with a lot of the community. So we're going to back her. We're going to back a couple of other local candidates that are running in the Democratic Party. So yeah.
Okay. And what about the Conservative Coalition?
And we on the other side are very, very confident that whatever candidate we put forward will beat Ms. Fishman, as we have multiple times in the past. I think the world of her. I think she's a great person, but at the end of the day, luckily in Tennessee, conservative ideas win out. We're really, really proud. Most recently at the CPAC, or Conservative Political Action Committee meeting, Tennessee was rated the most conservative state legislator in the United States. So we're really, really proud to stand behind our legislators and see some really great changes that are going on at the state level.
Okay. So what kind of students would you say that your organization draws?
Oh gosh, we draw all kinds of students, much like our friends in the College Democrats. We have everything from first-generation college students to students that are far right-wing to students that are just right of center. We attract the gambit, and we're lucky. We have about 150 to 200 members, so we're a very, very strong and prospering organization.
Okay.
We're really small right now. We've just restarted after a fallout in the last couple of years where we've went inactive, we've gotten frozen. We have a very modest beginnings of about 65 students right now. We have, as far as the conservative liberalism to the extreme liberalism, we have both sides of it. We have a lot of diversity with LGBTQ and people of color and things like that, and people who are really diverse and have really diverse opinions, which really brings to our organization because that's what we're about. We're about spreading that diversity and making sure people know what affects each one of these groups of peoples and how we need to help them and how we need to put forth our best foot to put them at their best.
Okay.
So yeah.
So how would you say your organization then helps individual students to get involved? The organization, you've talked about how you're involved as an overall group, but how would you say your organization helps an individual student get involved in the community?
We provide a lot of information to them. We have a partnership with the DRC right now, the Democratic Resource Center, that allows us to put them in a position to really impact the community. We have a lot of initiatives working that with like Insurance Tennessee and things like that, that we can really push forward and get them involved in grassroots liberalism and grassroots campaigning and really get them introduced to this in a small scale before they try to go at a national scale.
Kind of the same ticket. We do a whole lot more than just this volunteer grassroots. And while I respect that, we actually offer students in our groups internships, paid political campaigning opportunities, paid polling campaigning opportunities, professional development opportunities, mentor-mentee opportunities. So really, when you join, you're joining a family. And so what we do is kind of start to finish, we want to make sure that anything that student needs in the conservative realm, we're able to provide for them. And we're really excited that we've been able to do that thus far.
Okay, so nowadays, for some reason, or there may be reasons that I'm not privy to, there is an exceptionally low voter turnout consistently. Every election, it seems. I believe last time I heard it was in the 30%. I'm not sure on that. So what would you say is the way that we can turn that around? What do you think we can do, whether it be your organization or the community as a whole, can turn around that tide of low voter turnout?
Yeah, for sure. This is actually an issue that we as a conservative coalition kind of took up and thought, okay, how can we impact this? And we've been really, really excited to see that throughout the primary elections, voter turnout has actually been much higher. It's been a lot higher for us on the Republican side than it has for our friends on the left, which we're really excited about and makes us more optimistic for November. But we as a group said, okay, what can we do to kind of promote that? And so most recently we sponsored a piece of legislation that kind of was formulated in the Conservative Coalition brain network to actually allow students here at ETSU to recommend to Dr. Nolan that they take the day off for the upcoming November election. So what that would do, if you were a student, for example, that lived 2 or 3 hours away, where you could be able to travel back home, go and vote, and actually be engaged in the political process. Though we can't force somebody to vote, we have a very, very firm stance in doing whatever we can to give them the most opportunity to vote.
Okay. What would you say?
We are really working towards getting people registered, educating them on the importance of of how the voting process works and the importance of participating in that. We're also really geared towards voter mobilization. We want people to go out and vote, and we want to encourage them to do that. And I know that this past time, if in the city you worked for Bernie Sanders or for Hillary Clinton with the two local offices, you actually got to participate in voter mobilization where you went and picked people up to go vote, which is wonderful. I know I did work the polls that day for the primary in Tennessee, and I know that Democratic turnout is low, but I mean, as Brandon stated, this is a really conservative state, and I was just surprised that we had any Democrats that showed up, and I was really excited about that, and I'm proud of those people for getting out, and it's just a matter of making people see that just because you're blue in a red state, it doesn't matter. You need to get out and vote because that's the only way it's going to turn purple.
Okay. Now, Brandon here mentioned that one of his efforts was to get college students out by talking to Dr. Nolan and hopefully getting the day off for the university. So how would you try to target, this sounds like a method to target young voters. Specifically, young voters are the ones that usually don't turn up. So how would you try to vote, or how would you try to target young voters in specific?
I was there for the vote when we passed this piece of legislation. I really feel like the importance needs to be not necessarily being out of class, but having a better opportunity for you to go vote, like polling on campus if we can possibly do that, or having more people registered to vote here. Our voting locations at the Millennial Center, so if we can get that and get more people registered to vote there instead of in their home counties. I know there's ties to the home counties, but if you really need to vote and you really want to vote, I think that convenience is really optimum. Okay. And I don't see that a day off would provide the most optimum amount of convenience.
Okay, now I saw you shake your head when she mentioned voting on campus, and I'd like to hear your take on why you might disagree with that.
It's not like we can just call the Secretary of State's office and say, hey, let's move the polling place from this location, and let's maybe have it in the Culp Center right next to Chick-fil-A where people can come through and get their nuggets and vote at the same time. It doesn't work like that.
But would you not say that it's an admirable goal? Because when you say putting the voting place next to the Chick-fil-A so people can get their nuggets at the same time, that's kind of demeaning in a sense. So, or you make it sound demeaning to my ear. So would you not say that's an admirable goal, though, to work on over the next couple of years, perhaps?
Well, I mean, polling places are established. There's certain security protocols that go in. There's certain safety protocols. To my knowledge, there's not polling locations at any school in Northeast Tennessee. I can't really speak for the rest of the state.
Okay.
But we have to work as a group, and unfortunately, I'll call her Senator Crowder because that's her capacity when she filed that vote, but voted against giving students the opportunity to have that chance to go back home and be excused from class and have the day off to go back home and vote.
Okay, well, I apologize. I'm going to have to cut you off there. Please join us again. We're going to have to take a short break right now, but then we'll return with Brandon Johnson here and Sydney Crowder.